Hi, this is Lisa Kelly, Notre Dame author and class of 1993, and you are watching the Two Irish Brothers show. Cheers and go Irish.
But Waters finds a hole, one man to beat, he's gone. Ricky Waters makes like Tim Brown on his first punt return. There are no penalty flags.
What's up, everyone? I am Movie Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And together, we make up this little show known as the Two Irish Brothers Show. Now, as you guys know the drill, hit that subscribe tab in the bottom right-hand corner, like or dislike the video, look down below for every place that we're available on social media. And also, Ben, I got to say, nice job on the new background. This is all him, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. I think there's some small little tweaks I'm going to make on it, but not too bad. Not too bad for the first old college try, if you will. So,
yeah.
Well,
And also, folks, this is not a joke. You guys have seen us talk about this already, but make sure to check down below in the description box as well for our new sponsor. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, it is Dubby Energy Drinks. We are officially sponsored by them, partnered with them, whatever you want to call it. Ben has the cup. My stuff is coming in the mail. And if you decide to check out Dubby, if you're a workout freak, or if you just need some energy to start the day, or before that big game on Saturday of the college football season when it gets here, make sure to use our special promo code, which, as you see, is TIB Rocks, all in caps. You go on Dubby's website, and you will get 10% off your, not just your first order, but
every time you order.
Every order.
Yes.
Every time you order, use TIB Rocks.
Yeah.
And I think you guys will like the product. But
yes,
Ben,
you guys will love the product. Let me tell you, I am a energy drink snob. I have at least one energy drink every day. I can't stand Monster. I love currently Rain Energy. And I did like Bang for a minute, Bang Energy, but Bang would upset my stomach. So, Dubby blows it out of the water. Let me tell you, Peach Beach is my favorite by them so far. They have Dragon Energy, and that's dragon fruit. And their Dragon Energy literally tastes like dragon fruit mixed with marshmallows. Let me tell you, it is absolutely phenomenal. From one energy drink lover to anybody else that is watching us, check them out. It is totally worth the money that you're going to spend on them.
And so, I wait for my stuff to come in the mail. So
without further ado, let's get down to business. You saw the title. You know what we're getting ready to put down. It is schedule and way too early score predictions of these games and how we think this is going to unfold. Obviously, this is going to change once the season starts because there's upsets and teams that look better than we originally thought, or vice versa.
Hey, knock it off. Get out of here. Get out. Ben, I'm sorry about that, but you're not going to believe this. My cat was actually trying to hump my leg. I don't know if it got a scholarship to Northwestern or what, but yeah, it's definitely the signs of a Northwestern Wildcat. So I sent him out. So let's get down to business, Ben. So we got the schedules up here. Let's start with the first game against Navy over in Dublin, Ireland, which I am going to be there for. Unfortunately, you can't. I wish you could.
Right. Yeah, this game, I mean, it's obviously Navy starting off the schedule, and there's a little bit of an unknown right now with Navy. Are they actually going to stick with the triple option? Because Navy has a new head coach. Things might change, but I mean, come on. It's Navy, it's Notre Dame. This is not that one year that we never talk about in the Notre Dame fan base of us losing to Navy. Okay. Notre Dame wins this one easily, in my opinion. This is, put the world on notice, this is a 55-10 romp by Notre Dame in Avia Stadium across the pond in Dublin, Ireland. Notre Dame rolls, no problem. Sam Hartman puts the country on notice.
All right. Well, I'm going with a similar score because I was at the 2012 matchup when Notre Dame won 50-10. I'm just going to give each team 3 additional points. So I'm going to say Notre Dame 53, Navy 13. And I agree with you. Sam Hartman's going to have a great debut for the Irish. The running game is going to be phenomenal. Same with the receiving game. And it's going to be interesting to see what the defense does too. But I think the defense will be just fine. Yeah, Notre Dame rolls in this one. No more what happened last year.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. I dig it. So we're 1-0. Both of us have us 1-0.
The week after that, we come home for Tennessee State. And you'll probably hear me say this in the season preview, but I don't like this game being on the schedule. I get why Notre Dame scheduled it. There's a good reason behind it, but still, it's an FCS opponent, and I just don't like seeing FCS opponents on our schedule.
Yeah.
But to sum it up for me, I think this is going to be another romp. I think it's very possible that Notre Dame puts up 60 in this game. And if they don't, I'm not going to be disappointed. But I'm going to say Notre Dame wins this game 62-17.
Okay. I like it. Giving them a little bit of some points. This is Tennessee State's first game of their season. Very, very interesting matchup since, we'll kind of have knocked the rust off a little bit and they haven't. So I say a 55-0 romp again by Notre Dame. And Sam Hartman has a phenomenal game once again in front of his home field and his home fan base. And Notre Dame approves to 2-0.
And let me just add for the record that the only reason I'm giving Tennessee State 17 points is I think it gets so out of hand that Notre Dame pulls their starters and you put in a lot of guys that don't have a lot of experience. And this is their chance to get some experience, and that's how Tennessee State puts up points.
Gotcha.
So the next week after that, and this is a tricky one, we go on the road at NC State for an 11 o'clock a.m. showdown on ABC.
Yeah.
Now, NC State, they're an improved team.
Yes.
It's in Raleigh, and they could give us a little bit of fits.
Oh, this has trap game written all over for sure. This is a dangerous game for Notre Dame. So
with my score prediction, with it being at Raleigh, with it being a big time trap game, because like I said, NC State has gotten better, and we'll break it down more once we get to the individual predictions and recaps. But I think Notre Dame wins this game comfortably, but not as comfortably as the first two. So I'm going to say Notre Dame 30, NC State 20.
Okay, I like it. I like that. NC State has one game before this, and they will obviously, in my opinion, be 1-0. They play UConn in the first game of the season, and this is their second game. So they're undefeated, and we're undefeated, if you will. Yeah, I kind of agree with you that Notre Dame will have a little bit stronger of a challenge against NC State. I say Notre Dame 38, NC State 25.
I like it. We're in the same ballpark. So the next week after that, the Irish return home to play the Central Michigan Chippewas. Afternoon showdown on a game that's unfortunately only on Peacock and not NBC. But thankfully, I gave in and got the prescription the subscription.
Prescription.
Prescription.
Now. That would not surprise me.
Well, Notre Dame is a good prescription for happiness
or pain, depending on how you look at it.
Come on, Ben. Let's not go that route. All right, so I got the subscription to Peacock for not just for the Notre Dame games, but other stuff as well, like wrestling and classic shows that I like and whatnot. Anyway, I digress. So that's the thing. These MAC teams, they surprisingly, a good chunk of them put out a lot of good offenses, and Central Michigan has done that from time to time.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing, though. They're coming into our house, and that's not going to happen. Maybe it happened with Toledo a couple years ago, but that's not happening this time. We're going to be ready for it. So I'm going to say Notre Dame 42, Central Michigan 21 in this one.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Yeah, this was a Central Michigan team last year that was very, very good. They were a 2-loss team last year, believe it or not, going into their bowl game, which is incredible. And potentially probably an undefeated team, just due to the fact that like both of their losses were very close losses. But nonetheless, it is Central Michigan. I do believe that they'll be coming in 1-1 into this matchup. They have Michigan State in the first week. You would assume that Michigan State handles them not pretty easily, but handles them. And then they have New Hampshire, so that's nothing, in my opinion. So a 1-1 Central Michigan team, but we got it rolling, no problem. I say Notre Dame 45, Central Michigan 10. As we just continue to roll through this schedule and stay undefeated.
All right, there you go. Now, the next week after that is the big one. Well, the first of big ones on our schedule, and the one that everybody has their eye on, and myself as well, but not just for the game itself, but for what our fans do in this game. The Ohio State Buckeyes come to South Bend for a primetime showdown on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
And, we played them pretty tough last year, Ben. We did, and I think if we had the quarterback play, the right kind of quarterback play,
we could have potentially beat them last year.
Yeah, we definitely could have. You're right. We could have potentially beat them last year with what we did have. But regardless, even though this one's at home, it's still going to be a tough one. I think it's definitely going to be a close matchup. We're not gonna beat these guys by 2 or more touchdowns or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 1-score game, but I'm going to roll with my Irish as I always do, and I'm going to say Notre Dame wins this one 38-34.
Ooh, man. Yeah. So Ohio State has nobody, and I say that, with strain in my voice because Ohio State has nobody on their schedule before Notre Dame. Even though they do play my Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Ohio State is easily undefeated coming into this game. We're undefeated coming into this game. It's going to be a nighttime, primetime matchup. The electricity is going to be in the air, and I think that Notre Dame wins this one 45-42 on a last-second field goal to beat Ohio State.
Interesting. I think that's actually how it went in a recent on the Voice of College Football. They had that.
Really?
Yeah, it was a simulated game between Notre Dame and Ohio State, and that's exactly what happened. Is Notre Dame won it on a field goal. So interesting. So the week after that, we are back on the road to surprisingly at least I think so anyway, is going to be another trap game. The Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's gotten better as far as an overall football program, because you see Duke on your – now, if it was basketball, you'd be like, oh, my gosh, oh, my gosh, oh, my gosh. But football in its history, not so much.
Yeah.
Even though they did upset us that one year, but that was when we had a crappy team anyway. But Duke is surprisingly a trap game this year.
Yes, I agree.
But still, though, I don't think we should have any trouble with them. So I'm going to say Notre Dame, with as good as our offense has been so far at this point in the year, Notre Dame beats them 42-14.
Okay, I like it.
They'll be ready.
Duke has one monster game before this. They actually start their season with Clemson. And I think easily they're a 1-loss team coming into this game because they really don't have anybody after Clemson until Notre Dame. Lafayette, Northwestern, UConn, and then us. So I think they're a, what is that? 1, 2, 3. They're a 3-1 football team coming into this game. But we're too much. Like you said, we're too much. I say Notre Dame 38, Duke 14. So I'll give them the 14 since they're at home. This will be one of their big name games. Their fans will show up to this game. So yeah.
The next week after that, the trap game trend continues. Irish are on the road at the Louisville Cardinals. Now, the Louisville Cardinals, I've been hearing some good things about that they could be on the up and up with where they have been recently.
Yeah.
So, historically they've been all right as far as football goes. I mean, they've had plenty of success, a lot more than Duke has, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I think they'll put up a more of a battle than Duke does in this one. So Louisville's always been a team that's known to put up a lot of points. Always been known for their offense. So with that said, I'm not trying to say this is going to be a barn burner or anything like that, but I think Notre Dame gets the job done in this one, 38-20.
Okay, I like it. Louisville's potentially undefeated coming into this game, or potentially a one-loss team just because they play NC State right before they play Notre Dame. So, depending on what happens between that NC State Louisville game, will dictate obviously their record. But nobody before us at NC State, I think, will give Louisville that much of a trouble. Maybe Indiana, just because it's Indiana, and the closeness of them and Louisville, but I don't think so. So anyway, I think Notre Dame 38, Louisville 20.
Interesting. So the week after Louisville, and this upcoming part of the schedule is a real tough 3-game schedule. But let's start with the first big one of this 3-game schedule.
Yeah.
Or of this part of the schedule. I mean, the USC Trojans at home under the lights.
Yeah.
Now, I've been very vocal. Ben, you've been very vocal about not just USC, but Caleb Williams in particular. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that.
Yeah.
Because this is not about politics or social issues.
And Notre Dame fans know it. I mean, everybody knows who Caleb Williams is, and they know what he's about. So
yes, but what I'm saying is we're going to be ready for this one because of him shooting off his mouth about different things.
Yeah.
And you want to make bets on what color his nails are going to be?
Yeah.
I digress. All right. So regardless of what we think about Caleb Williams and USC, they are going to be a very tough matchup as they usually are.
Very tough team.
So under the lights, it's at home for us. Hopefully our fans will be rocking. But I still don't see this game being a potential blowout or anything like that. I'm not that stupid. I'm not. USC is going to come in ready to play, but so are we. Now, I will say this though. I still like our chances of this being a 2-score game if we're on our game that night. So my prediction for this game is going to be Notre Dame 38, USC 28.
Okay. I like it. USC has nobody before they play Notre Dame. I'm sorry, that's the fact. The only team on their schedule that could pose maybe a threat just because of who's coaching them, in my opinion, is Colorado. And ironically, they have Colorado right before. No, they don't. Never mind. I take that back. They have Arizona before us. So both teams are undefeated coming into this. We know what Southern Cal is. This is a Lincoln Riley-led team. Lincoln Riley is a phenomenal head coach. Absolutely phenomenal. His track record speaks for itself. This is going to be a barn burner. Okay. This is going to be the game where the team that scores the most points obviously wins it. And it's going to be a high scoring game. I have it Notre Dame 45, USC 42.
Well, I know what you mean, Ben. I mean, obviously, yes, we know the team who scores the most points wins, but what you're saying is the defenses are going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah,
both defenses.
This is going to be nuts. This is going to be a phenomenal game. In my opinion, this is going to be 2 Heisman quarterbacks battling it out. Heisman contending quarterbacks, because I think Caleb Williams will pick up right where he left off last year. The draft analysts and stuff are just gushing over Caleb Williams and stuff, and he looks to be a NFL caliber quarterback. So his stats and his style of play speak for themselves. I mean, that's, the bottom line. But Notre Dame slightly edges Southern Cal due to the fact that we're going to be angry in this one. This one, it sucked how it went against Southern Cal in LA. This is going to be a different team than Southern Cal saw last year. Notre Dame wins this one and continues their undefeated season.
And after USC, a much-needed bye week. But after that bye week, we stay at home to take on the Pitt Panthers, which, Ben, you will be in attendance for along with your family.
Yep. My family and I are going to that game. I'm really looking forward to that. Nice little cool, crisp fall day it should be. So, yep. But we know what Pittsburgh's about. We know that they've upset us in the past and they've ruined some of our great seasons and all that we've had going. And this is nothing different. This is a team that could potentially give Notre Dame a ton of trouble,
Historically, they have.
And, they have a team that, their head coach isn't a bad coach at all. He's a good coach. He has a mouth, though. He runs his mouth. But Notre Dame wins this one, in my opinion. Not easily. I won't say easily because it's Pittsburgh, but Notre Dame wins by at least 2 scores. And I say Notre Dame 35, Pittsburgh 14.
You were off on my prediction by 4 points. I'm going to say Notre Dame 31, Pitt 14.
Okay.
That's where I was at with that. That's where I was at, because you got to give Pittsburgh their credit for their historical toughness. Now, whether we see that in this game, I don't know, but that's what it looks like for now. But of course, come the season, we'll see how they have been in the season already before we get to the preview for that one. So after Pittsburgh, we are on the road at another big one, the Clemson Tigers in Death Valley. Now, even though Clemson didn't have the kind of season they'd like to have had last year, they're still not a bad team. They're still one of the best in the country. They still recruit pretty high, and it doesn't matter what kind of year they're having. When you come to Death Valley, you better buckle your chin strap and get ready to go. And a primetime crowd, you definitely better be ready. Yeah. So, my opinion for this game, it's going to be another hard-fought one. I don't see us doing to Clemson what we did last year when we beat them 35-14. Yeah. I think this could easily be another 1-score game. So I'm going to say Notre Dame 35, Clemson 28.
I like
it. And you could maybe even add on a field goal for Clemson that I think it'll be close.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, Clemson, I mean, it's going to be a very intriguing matchup between Notre Dame and Clemson because Clemson has Florida State before they play Notre Dame. And I think Florida State is a playoff caliber school this year. And I think Clemson could come in with 1 loss to this Notre Dame game. Obviously, it's in Death Valley, as Sean mentioned. Obviously, it's in November. And Clemson's going to want some revenge. I mean, the way that we pushed them around at Notre Dame Stadium last season, in their minds, was probably very embarrassing. And this is going to be a rough game. Clemson has always played Notre Dame tough. The matchups, the scores, the stats all show that. There have only been a couple games between us and Clemson where it is not close. Obviously, the playoff game, obviously the ACC championship, and then most recently us giving them fits at Notre Dame Stadium. But let's get down to the score prediction. I say Notre Dame 30, Clemson 28.
So possibly a last second field goal on our part.
Yeah.
I like it. It drives me nuts, but I like it. So after the matchup in Death Valley, we have another much needed bye week, and we come into November 18th at home for Senior Day against Wake Forest, which is another one that we're trying to look to get to possibly.
Possibly.
So big time storyline implications. Sam Hartman going up against his former team.
Mhm.
Not saying that Wake Forest is not a respectful team. Of course they are, but I don't see us having any problems in this one, especially since we're riding into the season pretty well, or this part of the season pretty well. Sam Hartman, he's been putting up his numbers, in my opinion, at this point. So I'm going to say on Senior Day, to send the seniors out the right way, Notre Dame 45, Wake Forest 17.
I like it. I dig it. Yeah, I think Notre Dame romps. Wake Forest will have a few losses coming into this game. They have Clemson, Florida State, and NC State before Notre Dame, among other teams. So definitely a 3 to 4 loss Wake Forest team possibly coming into this game. Notre Dame romps. I say 50-10 in this game against Wake Forest.
I like it. I'd love to see that. And the following week, Thanksgiving weekend, another one that I've had circled on the calendar.
Yep.
Out at Stanford to finish off the regular season.
Palo Alto. Beautiful
Now,
Palo Alto.
I could care less about Palo Alto. I only care about Stanford. Obviously, we all know what happened last year. People still can't stop talking about this one, like the Marshall game. So it's payback. They say payback's a bitch, and this is it. And I hope Marcus Freeman, as well as everybody else on the team, has that game circled. And I hope they're ready to just put up some points in this one. And what I'd like to see is this. I'm just going to say it. I hope Notre Dame puts up 60 on them. So my final score prediction, Notre Dame 60, Stanford 14. Don't forget what happened last year.
Yeah. You're off by 5 points with mine. I say Notre Dame 55, Stanford 17. Just because Stanford gets 17 because they're home. It's in California. It's in Palo Alto. They won't have a raucous crowd, but they're home. I mean, you're in your own stadium. You're in your backyard, if you will. So, yeah, Notre Dame wins this. Undefeated season for Notre Dame from both of us. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Sean. We're going to put you on the spot right here. Okay, you got 3 other teams you got to throw in here. Who is college football playoff with Notre Dame included? Because obviously Notre Dame's going to be undefeated. We're going to have wins over Clemson and Ohio State and Southern Cal. There's no way, even if all 3 of those games are barn burners, and even if we only win by 2 points in every one of them games, there's no way they keep the undefeated Notre Dame out of the playoffs in that situation.
The other 3 teams.
Who are your other 3 teams for the playoffs?
All right, well, most likely Georgia's going to be just about a given. The other 2 spots, I think it's going to come down to, obviously you have Ohio State, who's a real good team. You have Michigan, who's a real good team. I think it could come down to, because obviously in our prediction, Ohio State's going to have a loss. But I think Michigan beats them in the big one this year. So I'm going to say Michigan, and then for that fourth and final team. Really thinking about this, because here's the thing: I don't think Alabama makes it this year. I think there's a few things they got to work out yet. Yeah. But do I think they'll be better? Yes. But I think Florida State might be that 4th team. So we got Notre Dame, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State. But it's just the thing is, I know people will be like, what the hell are you talking about, Sean? Are you on crack? That's why it's a way too early prediction, people.
So our playoff predictions are absolutely entirely 110% the same. Now, this will be the first playoff since the inception of playoffs at Division I FBS level where we don't have a newcomer in the playoffs. Every playoff has seen at least one newcomer since the inception. Okay. This will be the first one where they have repeats of everybody. And I say Florida State, Georgia, and Michigan. And then it goes, in my opinion, Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2, Florida State number 3, Notre Dame number 4, and you could probably flip between Notre Dame and Florida State at 3 or 4. Michigan wins against Ohio State. They continue that part of their rivalry where they win multiple times against Ohio State in multiple years, which will be 3 in a row for Michigan. Florida State, the only team on Florida State's schedule, in my opinion, that could scare them would be Clemson. That's the only one. Georgia has no pulse on their schedule. There's nobody on their schedule minus the SEC championship game, which will most likely either be Alabama or LSU, depending on what happens, in my opinion, between the Alabama and LSU game. But I think Georgia goes for that illustrious and very hard to do three-peat. And they are in the playoffs. So, Florida State's the ACC championship undefeated. Michigan's the Big Ten champion undefeated. Notre Dame's undefeated. And Georgia is the SEC champion and undefeated. And if Georgia, let's say this, if Georgia comes in undefeated into this game, Georgia will have 3 straight regular seasons of undefeated play, which is absolutely incredible. But yeah, that's my prediction. And I stand firmly by it. This is not a way too early, in my opinion. This is, if you ask me who we're going to be in the playoffs, I would say all 4 of these teams. There's no doubt that these teams couldn't do it. So yeah, that's our prediction for Notre Dame, and also a college football playoff.
A mini prediction, if you will.
Yeah, a mini prediction. And then we'll see what matchups they are and who's shuffled and all that. But yeah, that's our predictions, guys. That was fantastic and absolutely phenomenal. Obviously.
And yes, folks, this is a half hour long, but it's a great discussion.
Yeah.
So on that note, everyone, I am Indy Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57. And before we go, and before we say our last little spiel, please smash the crap out of that like button down below if you like this video. Please comment, leave your thoughts below. Give us your score prediction, not only for Notre Dame, but your college football playoff prediction. And as always, please subscribe and hit that little bell icon at the top so you never miss a video, whether it's a short or an actual video like this one. And as we say, Sean, have a great day. God bless.
And go Irish.
Go Irish.